Hi everyone, the Lone Wolf here. Welcome back to some EVE Online, and in preparation of the Oceanus release, which seems to be heavily focused on wormholes with completely new graphics. When it comes to both the wormholes themselves and the backgrounds that we have in wormholes, we took a little trip in here. So this is just a C1 to warm us up really, and I'm doing this in my trusted prophecy. I think it's one of the easiest ships to get into to try and do wormholes, just because of its awesome bonus for tank. A prophecy is going to be very hard to break in either a C1 or a C2 for anyone that can put a Tech 2 tank on it. And as you can see, it also has enough utility. You know, I've got probes and a cloak on there, so I could always flee to a safe spot and cloak while probing and all of that good stuff. I also have a scram just in case of an emergency, but that's just an extra mid slot that you could also use for a data analyzer or a relic analyzer. I just think it's a really good ship for this. It's got then a couple missile launchers, just 3 of them, but it can actually do a good amount of damage with different types of drones. You can have a full flight of small ones, medium ones, and you can even add a few ogres in the mix there, with enough room left for salvage drones, which is really what's going to give you some income in something like a C1. But yeah, pretty good, and I really like this ship for just like day tripping or doing some quick sites together with someone else from the corporation. And in this case, it's my brother who has upgraded. His Harbinger is now a Legion, so actually flying a Tech 3 covert ops capable ship. He's really there to be able to scout things and warp to places without being seen, even on a D-scan. So that's of course the disadvantage of something like a prophecy. I can't warp while cloaked, but okay, we'll deal with it. You know, it's got more tank, it's got more hit points, so I feel it's actually very efficient for the job here as well, despite the fact, of course, that it's not covered ops. What was happening here is my brother, his Legion actually moves so fast that he sometimes goes too fast for the tracking of his lasers, and so he was not able to do any really good damage to these vigilant sentry towers at full speed. And so he told me, well, you take care of these and I'll go after some of the other stuff. So that's maybe a disadvantage. You have to take care of your feats, of course. My brother is experimenting with the Legion here a little bit, but it seems that it just doesn't have as much DPS as the Harbinger did. And but of course it is covered ops. It has some more utility, I think, as well, and my brother can actually easily fit data relic analyzer in there as well. On the other hand, he doesn't have any salvage drones with him, so I'm the one who's got to drop the tractor beam and then go back for the salvaging. But it's just a new setup, and there you can see it's actually in a giant red star C1 with some effects. But yeah, it's overall it's not really a problem in ships like this. A Tech 3 cruiser is more than capable of soloing something like C1 site, and so too is my prophecy. So we're just focusing on some of the small drones here first. They go down pretty easily, and after that we go for the medium ones, which tend to trigger the next spawns. I do run a micro updrive now. Previously I had an afterburner. It's just again part of the testing, part of yeah, trying to get our feet wet in wormhole space once again and see what works better than maybe the things we did previously. The disadvantage, of course, when I'm in the site, I tend to be pretty slow. I can burst the micro updrive from time to time if I really need to close the distance. But of course, in some other situations, like let's say a data site or a relic site, it can be advantageous to actually have a micro updrive, be able to do longer stretches more quickly. So it actually it has its pro and cons. You know, it's not like I can keep that running indefinitely, which I could easily do with an afterburner. On the other hand, for a longer travel needs, such as having to go back to the loot over there, the micro updrive actually helps me to win some time as well. So we'll see how it all works out. In the meantime, the final medium sized sleeper drone gets destroyed, triggering I think this is the final wave already. and again my brother is actually targeted. As you can see, tank wise it's really not a problem. It even takes a lot of time for the sleepers to go through just my shields, and that's after that the armor is where the resists really kick in. It is actually cap stable running Tech 2 medium armor repair, so yeah, it's just that's why I like this prophecy so much. It's got this incredible tank, this bonus to resists. If you're looking for a ship where you can confidently say that, well, I'll be able to go in a C1 or a C2, do a couple sites, and get out alive without sweating too much, it's really a prophecy. I think that you want. It's more than capable of doing that. You could go with maybe something like a Myrmidon as well because of the rep bonus, but honestly it's really the resists where it's at, and this is where the ship really excels at. So all we've got left now is just a couple of cruiser-sized sleeper drones, which yeah, they're still pounding on my brother's Legion, but as you can see, he's tanking that no problem as well. Part of it is speed tanking though, so he's probably a little bit more vulnerable to something like webs. He's probably also has a smaller capacitor. He's gonna, in a C2 for instance, he's going to have to be careful if he gets a few webs on him, or if he gets really neutered by a lot of ships simultaneously. That could actually be a bit more dangerous for him than for me. On the other hand, of course, Tech 3 ships get insane resists as well, so he can probably handle all of that no problem. But yeah, I do prefer the cheaper, a little bit bulkier, but with just more tank, more buffer, and yeah, it's a trade you have to decide for yourself. You know, my brother likes to go a little bit smaller, a little bit more nimble, and me, I'm okay with just being a big chunk of armor in there with good resists, and then project my damage with the drones, which is not always perfect, because as you can see, one of my hobgoblins is actually seriously damaged and I need to find a way to repair that. But all in all, it's a good amount of fun. We are trying to check out Wormhole space here once again. Hopefully I'll be able to show you guys like the new graphics and all of that as well. And for now, this is a little bit of what we're focusing on, trying to get something done in Wormhole space. There goes the final rat. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.